We don't often get stars on the platform at commencement, but we have one today. I am pleased and proud to award the Prairie View A&M University Presidential Medal. This medal recognizes outstanding achievement in a field or endeavor. It's awarded to exceptional individuals who have attained the highest levels of success in their respective fields and have made significant cultural, social, economic, or scientific contributions that benefit society. And I'm elated to announce that Anna Deavere Smith is our Presidential Medal honoree today. Ms. Smith, please come forward. So stand there, step back. Can you get the camera on her? Whoever's working the camera? There you go, okay. Gifted actress, groundbreaking playwright, distinguished professor, you have created a unique path through the world of dramaturgy and the corridors of academia. Baltimorean by birth, you left your native home to study acting at then Beaver College. And never looking back, you set off to California to deepen your knowledge and expand your range of performances. Earning an MFA from the American Conservatory Theater, you stepped boldly into the world of acting, ranging across genre and character types to reveal the truth of who we are as human beings. With a gift for close observation of human traits and behavior, you learn to transform yourself into the image of living characters, thereby creating a new and distinctive theatrical identity. Discovering the importance of relating what people were experiencing during times of crisis, you created a documentary style, writing and performing original works such as Fires in the Mirror and Twilight, Los Angeles in the early 90s. A sole performer in both, you played multiple characters in tour de force performances, hailed for their brilliance and for signaling the arrival of a new dimension of acting that would enter the annals of theater history. Interviewing hundreds in your quest for authentic representation of Los Angeles and Crown Heights rioters, you won the coveted Drama Desk Award for Outstanding One-Person Show. Additional works followed in a similar style, appearing at the famed Long Wharf Theater and the American Repertory Theater. Your oeuvre includes film and television roles, too numerous and diverse to mention. Among them were recurring roles in The Practice, The West Wing, and Nurse Jackie. Your film credits include Philadelphia, Dave, The American President, Rent, and more. As a performer and professor, you've provided inspiration to thousands of aspiring African-American writers and actors who seek to ply their craft in a socially meaningful way. Having been a professor at USC, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, and NYU, you've been one of the most influential dramatists of our time. A MacArthur and Fletcher Fellow, you received the Dorothy and Lillian Gish Prize and the National Humanities Medal. When you gave the Jefferson Lecture, your title spoke volumes for what you've achieved in your storied career. On the Road, A Search for American Character. Through your works and your stellar performances, we have indeed peered into the American character. So for your brilliant insights into the American character, your extraordinary theatrical career in which you broke new ground, and your mentorship of so many artists, we thank you and award you the Prairie View A&M University President's Medal. Congratulations. Okay. Without further delay, I present to you actress, playwright, and distinguished professor Anna Deavere Smith.
Well, I'm honored, and my speech is going to tell you even more about why. Dr. Simmons, thank you so much for this. May I echo your remarks about the diamond when I was a struggling actor in New York, working at in the complaint department of an airline. I had a card on my wall of my office that said, "A diamond is a lump of coal that's stuck with it." And that's from the champion swimmer, Diana Nyad. What a time to be talking to you. Everyone has already commended you for getting through something very difficult with triumph. I've been mingling a little bit with your history. I'm happy, I guess I'm a little bit a part of it now. And I want to mingle with you further this morning is what I'm going to do in these minutes that I have with you. You know that W.E.B. Du Bois visited here and spoke often. You know that. And in his 1934 crisis column, he wrote, "I was met by an automobile and whisked 40 miles north." I don't know where he was coming from. I just know that when I arrived yesterday at Houston Airport, I was met by Chief of Police Jemison, and I was whisked, not so far, to a hotel downtown. But then this morning, he picked me up, and I was 10 minutes late because of the early hour of 7, and then I was whisked here. Du Bois also wrote, "This state Negro school looks like a small town with its 41 buildings clustered on a prairie, lighted by its own electric light plant and heated by its own steam." He wrote, "One rides out of Houston at dusk, and then suddenly on the right, 100 dustered buildings appear. I turn down Route 244, and I see a new concrete road recently built by the state of Texas as an approach to Prairie View State College. It is my third visit, and I am always astonished and newly inspired when I come." Heated by its own steam. Heated by its own steam. That is the history of education of Black people in the United States. And you are a part of that steam. When I was mingling with your history, I read about a women's band. Y'all know about the Prairie View State College co-eds who came around during World War II when all the men were taken off to war. And so the band was made of women. Apparently, you can find this in your library. Mo Gale, who was an agent who represented Ella Fitzgerald and other icons, represented the Prairie View State College co-eds. And in your library, apparently, I found it online, there's a piece out of the press book, Gale Agency Incorporated presents Prairie View State College co-eds, all-girl orchestra, 16 gay, gorgeous glamour gals, 16. You don't have to go to college. Here's a college you can adopt as your own. For these darlings of rhythm will teach you all there is to know about swing. No doubt, the Prairie View College co-eds are the ancestors of the Black Foxes. I'd have to spend a month here to find out more about the history of Prairie View, to learn about the mission, to learn who was in favor of the idea of the school and at its inception as the Alta Vista Agriculture and Mechanical College of Texas for colored youths, and to learn about who was not, because after all, it's on our own steam. The curriculum of Prairie View Normal School included courses in arts and sciences, agriculture, home economics, nursing, mechanical arts. In 1919, There was a 4-year senior college program, and graduate studies also added offerings in agricultural economics, agricultural education, rural education, school administration, supervision, and rural sociology. What's that? There are so many more options for you, and yet we have so much work to do. Even as you've gotten through these 4 or more years, there's so much work for us to do for our people. Education is only part of what we need. You learn skills here so that you can make a living, and when you get out here, some of those skills are going to be relevant, some of them are not going to be relevant, or they will need revision, and you'll have to be ready to change. For example, a friend of mine studied very hard to be an actress, but just recently she decided to study to be a psychoanalyst with some trepidation. But then the pandemic hit, and she now knows that this is a very important business, one that she could not have anticipated originally. When Alta Vista Agriculture and Mechanical College of Texas for Colored Youth was started, they probably did not have therapies on the list as a field, but now when we think about young people in our communities, we talk about trauma-informed care, trauma-informed education, transgenerational trauma, ACEs scores, and all other kinds of therapies that are relevant and needed in our communities. What moved the mission of Prairie View forward? What blocked that mission? I don't know. But whatever it was, nonetheless, put you here. And here we are now with the promise of you. I have both personal and political reasons for being delighted to mingle with your history. First and foremost, in the personal reason, is Dr. Simmons, who is a role model for us all. Her accomplishments are a beacon light. Shall we show her how much we appreciate and love her? She is exceptional. She is exceptional. From her youth in Texas, she became a scholar, a leader in education at Princeton, Smith, Brown. She made history everywhere she went, and then she came back to Texas. We can't do all that she has done. We just can't. But what we can do is to learn from how she does what she does and who she does it for. That we can do. Dr. Simmons' work ethic, as you know, is beyond. She reaches outside of her office into broad communities to help, to school, to guide, to mentor, to encourage, to change. And guess what? I would not be standing here today if it weren't for the professional advice she gave me many years ago. I wasn't working for her. I wasn't a student of hers. I was a stranger. But a mutual friend told her that I needed some advice, and she made herself available. Now that is something that we can all do, something that each one of you will be called to do, to make yourself available, and to do it not because you could leverage it. There's nothing Dr. Simmons could have leveraged about me at that time in my career, not because you will get something in return, but do it out of true hospitality. I'm talking about welcoming the stranger. In my case, I was a stranger to Dr. Simmons, and she lent a hand. And whether it's for the sake of the race, the black race, the human race, or whether it's for the sake of your profession, or whether it's exactly what I just referenced, the human cause of hospitality. Welcoming the stranger to your table of bounty. Every religion has some form of that. And that's something that we can do, and I believe it must have been a crucial part of Prairie View's mission and of your time here. Dr. Simmons' work ethic, her ethos, what she does, how she does it, ought to be endowed so that it could be practiced forever. Practice hospitality. Practice giving without expecting anything in return. Expect the best from those you help. Expect the best, because the people who you welcome will feel their best self. They will feel it, and they will have energy to go forth. That's one personal reason why I'm so delighted and honored to mingle in your history. Here's another personal reason. I was the last of what was called a nice Negro girl. Miss Deavere, you might have been in that realm as well. The nice Negro girls. My high school counselor at Western High School, the oldest all-girls public school in America to this day, in Baltimore, was a rotund white woman with a nice but less than energetic countenance. She was completely absent from my education until one day, after rumblings about affirmative action in white colleges, she decided that I and my mother should be summoned to talk with her. My mother, a veteran teacher in the Baltimore public schools, took the afternoon off. We sat in the office, prim and proper as can be, while the counselor showed us one pamphlet after another with images of white girls in sweater sets in bucolic environments. I knew nothing about the multitude of small colleges across the United States that had been founded, many by religious institutions, for the specific purpose of educating white women, nor did I know anything about suitcase schools, so-called because girls would come to, they'd live on campus but go away on the weekends in a suitcase to find a husband. But in 1966, as my counselor put it to my mother, many of these all-girls colleges were looking for nice Negro girls like Anna. And here's the point. My father did not like that idea at all. He was adamant that I attend Howard or Morgan or some other historically black college or university, just as he and his siblings did. But my mother and I made the case about that opportunity. He became emphatic. If I went to a white women's college, he said, I'd have no social life. Now, this was very strange to me because he was about the strictest father you can possibly imagine, and he never seemed to care about my social life. My social life. Now, why was he concerned about that? It's going to have something to do with you. When I went to Beaver College in a suburb of Philadelphia, I went there without having ever seen the campus. My family left me in a sea of white girls and headed back to Baltimore. Like any self-respecting Negro, when I took my seat in the first convocation, I looked for every single person of color. There were 7 nice Negro girls, including myself. There was no Black Students Union. We weren't even black yet. We made eye contact and kind of nodded towards each other. The 7 of us occupied different places within the Negro community's distinct class system. We had different relationships to hairdressers, different slangs, different high school experiences, different ways of worshiping, if we worshiped, different family arrangements. Race looked like it overrode differences, but in '67 it did not. 3 of those girls had gone to the same high school. We realized that we were there because the college felt that they were actually not just giving an opportunity to us, but giving an opportunity to be an experience for white girls because they knew that the world would not stay the way it had been. One night, still early in the term, my roommate, who was white, and I were studying at our desks, and she asked me casually, "Did you get a letter?" swinging her feet from her chair. "What letter?" I said. "I got a letter asking if I minded having a Negro roommate," she said. "No," I said, "I did not get a letter." None of us 7 Negro girls got a letter. And yet, when I think back on that time, my father's warning and concern that I would not have a social life was not because the college was all white. I realized when I got an honorary degree at Spelman, and I walked in on the first day, and one of the alums came over to me and said, "Welcome to the sisterhood," what I had missed. And I just burst out crying because the sisterhood, welcome to the sisterhood, welcome to the sisterhood, welcome to the brotherhood, is about being welcomed into a community of service and care that was going to last my entire life, regardless of where I had gone to college. And that's what I feel to be with you today, to be welcomed again into a sister and a brotherhood, where I can share just a few things. I agree, a diamond is a lump of coal, which stuck with it. You're going to be surprised at what I'm going to say now. Confidence is overrated. Confidence is overrated. Give doubt a try. Give doubt a try. Practice hospitality. Give without expecting anything in return. I'm mingling in your history. I just told you a story of my history in college, which is so different than your history. And yet, we have a shared history. A shared history. We all understand that to some extent, we have to have our own steam engines. And so I'm going to end with a historical portrait about a history that we share, and at a certain point, I'm going to ask you to participate. As Dr. Simmons described, I have a unique form of theater that I developed, and I've been trying to learn about America my entire life. I've been going around with a tape recorder talking to people, and then I write plays in which I perform people word for word. My way of trying to learn about America by becoming America, by absorbing America and being in its heart. And I can think of no better portrait. I thought long and hard about what of my portraits I should share with you. If I were a singer, I would sing a song. If I were a photographer, I'd show a photograph. And I decided that the portrait that we should share together today, to come away with yet another lesson that'll be inside this portrait. The religious people might see the similarity between one of my portraits and a parable. We're going to come away with a lesson by me performing someone and then asking you to participate. And when I do, I really need you to, and I know you will, because all of y'all probably belong to a black church. You know how to participate. And the portrait that I'm going to close with, as I mingle with your history by engaging in a shared history, is the history of Congressman John Lewis. Y'all know who he is? The late Congressman John Lewis. And this is a story about something that happened to him in Alabama. And this is word for word from an interview I did with him. On our way on this trip that we've been taking for the past 13 years. I've been going back every year since 1965, back to Selma to commemorate the anniversary of Bloody Sunday that took place on March 7, 1965. But we usually stop in Birmingham for a day, and then we go to Montgomery for a day, and then we go to Selma. But on this trip to Montgomery, we stop at First Baptist Church. It's the church that was pastored by Reverend Ralph Abernathy. And it's the same church where I met Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Reverend Abernathy in the spring of 1958. Young police officer, the chief, came to the church to speak on behalf of the mayor that was not available. And he gave a very moving speech to the audience. The church was full. Black, white, Latino, Asian Americans, members of Congress, staffers, family members, children and grandchildren. And he said, what happened in Montgomery 52 years ago during the Freedom Ride, when you arrived, was not right. He said the police department didn't show up. They allowed an angry mob to come and beat you. And it said, Congressman, I'm sorry for what happened. I want to apologize. This is not the Montgomery that we want Montgomery to be. This is not the police department I want to be the chief on. Before any officers are had, he said, they go through training. They have to study the life of Rosa Parks. They have to study the life of Martin Luther King Jr. They have to visit the historic sites of the movement. They have to know what happened in Birmingham and what happened in Montgomery and what happened in Selma. He said, I want you to forgive us. He said, to show the respect that I have for you and for the movement, I want to take off my badge and give it to you. And this church was so quiet, no one said a word. And I stood up to set the badge, and I started crying. And everybody in the church started crying. There was not a dry eye in the church. I said, officer, chief, I cannot accept your badge. Don't you need it? He said, Congressman Lewis, I can get another one. I want you to have my badge. And I took it. And I never ever gonna forgive it. Never ever gonna forget it. I'm gonna hold on to it forever. But he hugged me, and I hugged him. I cried some more. You had Democrats and Republicans in the church crying. One young deputy assistant, young black officer was sitting down. He couldn't even stand. He cried so much like a baby. Really, it was the first time that a police chief in any city where I visited or where I got arrested in the 60s that ever apologized or where I was beaten. It was a moment of grace. It was a moment of reconciliation. And the chief was very young. He wasn't even born 52 years ago. But he was offering apology and to be forgiven on behalf of his colleagues, his associates of the past. It's a moment of grace. It means that the suffering and the pain that so many people have suffered have been redeemed. And then for the police officer, the chief, to come and apologize, ask to be forgiven, it felt so good. And at the same time, so freeing and liberating to have this young man come up. He hugged me. He held me. And I felt so, I'm just one. I'm just one of the people. But many people were beaten. It is Amazing Grace. Y'all know that song? Y'all know that song, Amazing Grace? Y'all know it. Sing it for me. All right, now we're going to have to start together. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Now, wait a minute, because you know that line in there? You know that line in there? It save a wretch like me. It's in a sense we all falling short. We all just trying to make it. We all searching. We all, like Dr. King say, we out to redeem the soul of America. We first have to redeem ourselves. But this message, this act of grace, or the badge, says to me, hold on. Never give up. Never give in. Never lose faith. Keep the faith. We're on our own steam engine sometimes, not always. We sometimes feel like we're on our own steam engines, but never give up, never give in. Keep the faith. That's what I have to say to you in 2021.